It was a bright, sunny, and beautiful morning in the land of Ukpukpa. All road led to Mr. Olariwaju's house. His wife, Titilope, gave birth exactly 8 days ago. As the custom is, the 8th day after a child is born, the child is named. Mr. and Mrs. Olariwaju looked forward to this day, even before Titilope, his wife, put to bed. Titilope sold Reby for family and friends in anticipation for this big day. The pots were on fire as Baba Ijebu stirred the amala. Iya Temilade was busy cooking gbegiri and ewedu. The naming ceremony was already the talk of the whole of Ukpukpa, as everyone knew that Titilope was always on her A game to show how rich and flamboyant her husband was. People came from the nooks and crannies of the village. Only a few were there to celebrate with the family genuinely, who just welcomed a baby. Most of the guests were there to see how Titilope's so talked about party was going to be like. See how her hair tie did not even match with her shoe. One of the guests said, "My dear, I thought I am not seeing right though. Even her makeup does not match her skin tone," another said, as they all burst out laughing. The guests all ate to their satisfaction as usual. Some were not satisfied because they did not get to take away a lot of food home. After the naming ceremony, Titilope was happy to have such a big party. Now, people will know that I do not do small things. I do not do small parties. Now they will respect me more, Titilope thought to herself as she smiled proudly. Titilope and her husband Olariwaju had a very good and enviable marriage. Olariwaju showered Titilope, his wife, with whatsoever she demanded, as Titilope, being the extravagant one, would always demand whatsoever she wants without any form of hesitation, even though she was from a very poor family. But Olariwaju, in his busy schedule, always created time for his family, Titilope and Kemi, their beloved daughter. Olariwaju was a very rich and humble man. Despite his riches, he assisted Titilope to clean the house, wash the clothes, cook the meals, and even wash baby Kemi's clothes. With all his efforts to make Titilope happy, Titi was a nagging wife. Titi would always complain about anything and everything he does. "The clothes you washed are not clean. Why did you not wash it well? The food is too watery," Titilope would say to her husband Olariwaju. Despite her numerous complaints, Olariwaju continued to be a supportive husband. One day, Titilope and Olariwaju were invited for a dinner at one of Olariwaju's friend's house, Toby. Getting to Toby's house, Titilope was mesmerized by the way Toby's wife had a lot of maid at her beck and call. As she sat there, they were discussing. Toby's wife was busy ordering her maids around. "Get me a glass of water." "No, bring me that book from the shelf." "Why are you looking at me like a dummy? Get me my glasses," Toby's wife commanded. Titilope was shocked and astonished as the way the maids obey her without any form of hesitation. After Titilope and Olariwaju visit to Toby's house, Titilope started complaining that the workload in the house was overwhelming. So one day, she met with Olariwaju. "My husband, the workload in this house is too much. I cannot continue like this, only me. I am tired. I will take care of Kemi, I would clean the house, I will cook the food, and then you will still disturb me at night for sex. I am tired though," Titilope complained bitterly. "Titi, my wife, But you know that I always assist you whenever I am around. Don't I clean the house? Don't I help you to cook the meals and also take care of Kemi? Olariwaju said, Which cook? Which cook? What kind of food do you cook? Those tasteless foods. Titilope hissed, Please oh, I am going to take a maid that would be helping me out, Titilope said. No, Titi, not here. I am not in support of you bringing anyone into our home. Olariwaju antagonized her. See, whether you like it or not, tomorrow I am getting one, Titilope said aggressively. The discussion between Titilope and Olariwaju did not go well as they did not come to a compromise. But however, the next day, Titilope hired Esin as their new maid. When Olariwaju returned from work, he was shocked to see a new face in the house. He called Titi to the room. Titilope, who is that person I am seeing in the house? Oh, that's our new maid, she said. She's going to be helping us around the house, Titilope told Olariwaju. Titilope, I thought I told you yesterday not to bring anyone into my house, Olariwaju questioned. Now that I have brought one, what will you do? Tell me, Olariwaju, what will you do? Titilope fired at her husband. At this point, Olariwaju knew that Titilope was out for trouble, so he kept quiet and left the house. Titilope was pleased that finally she had someone to send on errand at her own will. Titilope would send Esin on errands indiscriminately, from cooking the food, to cleaning the house, to taking care of Kemi the child, to even washing Titilope's underwear. Esin never for once complained, but Titilope soon progressed to becoming aggressive. She would shout at the maid, order her around. One day, Titilope called Esin twice without any response. When Esin finally showed up, she asked, Why have you not been answering my call? Madam, I was taking my bath, Esin replied. Just like a flash, Titilope slapped Esin. Next time, I only call once and you respond immediately. Esin was a very calm person. She knew better not to argue with her boss, but soon, Titilope became violent. She would throw things at Esin, anything she finds around, at any slightest provocation. Esin only managed to stay for 2 months, and then one day, as Titilope and her husband went out on a family outing, Esin packed all her belongings and left the house, leaving a note that read, Madam, do not look for me. I have gone back to my family. When the couple returned, Titilope, as usual, called Esin, shouting. Then there was no response. That was when Titilope noticed the note on the table. After reading the note, Titilope said, Oh, good riddance to bad rubbish. Olariwaju was happy that finally Titilope was going to come back to her right senses. But no, he was wrong. It only took 1 week before Titilope employed another maid, Enkay. When Enkay resumed work, she was a very hardworking girl, just the way Titilope loved it. She would clean the entire house twice a day, cook the food, wash the dishes, clean Titilope's underwears. She was very kind to Titilope and Kemi. Whenever Titilope ordered her around, she would calmly answer her without any iota of protest. Soon, Titilope became so confident in Enkay. Titilope would tell her friends how loyal her new maid was to her and how Enkay would do whatsoever she asked her to do. Soon, Titilope would leave the house for hours, visiting her friends and partying away. And whenever she returned back home, the house was always in order, and Kemi, her daughter, was always well taken care of by Ekaite. Olariwaju started noticing his wife's frequent outing. "My dear, I don't like the way you go out anyhow, leaving our baby in the hands of Ekaite. The fact that you have someone assisting you does not mean that you should leave the whole responsibility to her and become an irresponsible woman," Olariwaju said. "So, you are calling me irresponsible just because I go out with my friends sometimes? Really? Please, did you marry me to become your slave?" Titilope fired at her husband. After the continuous warning, Olariwaju resorted to leaving Titilope to do whatsoever she deemed right. One day, after Ekaite finished cooking, she served the portion that was for Olariwaju and served him to him. After Olariwaju devoured the meal, he had a very deep sleep on the couch. By the time he woke up, he saw Ekaite sitting close to him, looking at him. Looking at Ekaite, Olariwaju said, "My love, where have you been all my life?" Ekaite, knowing what she had done, smiled to herself. Olariwaju became so into Ekaite, he followed her to wherever she went in the house. As she was preparing the meal for dinner in the kitchen, Olariwaju followed her to the kitchen and held her by the waist, kissing her while she was cooking. That was when Titilope returned from one of her numerous outings. She had been calling Ekaite from the sitting room without any response, so she decided to go to the kitchen to shout at her as usual. When she opened the door and got to the kitchen, she got the surprise of her life. "Olariwaju, what are you doing with her?" she questioned in an angry tone. "Oh, you mean my love? What does it look like we are doing?" Titilope's legs quivered as her legs could no longer carry her whole body. She could not believe her ears and her eyes. She rushed at Ekaite at once. "If you dare touch me, you will not believe what I will do to you," Ekaite said firmly. At this point, Titilope knew that there was a big problem. She ran to her room, filled with shock and in pain, crying. She could not comprehend what just happened. On the other hand, Ekaite and Olariwaju were busy laughing at her. When it was daybreak, Titilope met with Olariwaju in an angry manner. She said, "What happened between you and Ekaite yesterday?" "Oh, you mean my baby, Ekaite, my love?" Olariwaju said, smiling. At this point, Titilope knew that her husband has been charmed. Hot tears dropped as she walked away. "I am going to confront that devil of a girl. She thinks she can charm my husband and take over my home," Titilope said angrily as she walked up to Ekaite. "You ingrate, you witch! I brought you to my house and you charm my husband, you witch! As I am talking to you now, pack your things and leave my house right now," Titilope said. Ekaite looked at Titilope and started laughing. Titilope looked around. "What is funny? I said pack your things and leave my house right now." "Which house? This house? Is it this house you are calling your house? Is this house yours?" "No," Ekaite said. "So you don't have any right whatsoever to tell me to pack out," Ekaite affirmed. "Ekaite, I brought you in the first place to my house. Now, I am telling you to leave Or else. Or else what? Or else what? Ekaite shouted at Titilope. See, Titilope, or whatsoever you are called, tread carefully with me, or else you would be the one to leave this house for me. Titilope was shocked at the effrontery of Ekaite calling her by her name. As she raised her hands to slap Ekaite, Ekaite held her hand, looking at her straight in the eyes sternly. She said, "You don't dare." Ekaite soon stopped doing all the chores in the house. She would sit in the sitting room watching movies. Olariwaju became so hostile to Titilope. Titilope tried begging him on so many occasions. "My love, it is me, oh, your wife. Why are you treating me like this?" Titilope begged. "Who is your love? I am not your love. Go and look for your love elsewhere." After several failed attempts to bring Olariwaju back to his normal self prove abortive, Titilope decided that she would carefully look for a way to get her husband to his right senses. But before she could do that, Titilope had no choice but to sleep in the guest room with her daughter Kemi, while Ekaite slept in the master's bedroom with Olariwaju. One day, as Olariwaju woke up, he woke up very angry and went straight to the guest room where Titilope and Kemi had slept. Olariwaju woke Titilope from sleep. "Stand up, you lazy woman! Pack your things and leave my house. I don't want to see you here," Olariwaju said. "Ha! Ola, why? Why would you say such? I am your wife. Please, where do you want me to go? Where do you want I and my daughter to go to?" "Titilope, I don't care. Wherever you want to disappear to, that is your business. Just leave my house," Olariwaju said with so much anger. Titilope begged and begged, but it fell on deaf ears as Olariwaju packed her luggage and threw them outside the house. While Ekaite watched, laughing at Titilope, Titilope had no choice but to leave the house with Kemi, her daughter, and go stay with her poor parents in the village. Ekaite was happy as her mission was fully accomplished, as she became the madam of the house and had no one to send her on errands anymore. Olariwaju would do whatsoever Ekaite said, but in all, Ekaite pampered Olariwaju so much so that Olariwaju was happy and thought it was his reality. When the news got to some of Titilope's friends about how she was overthrown in her own home by her maid, they laughed at her. "That is good for her. She is too full of pride," they said. "That definitely serves her right," they gossiped Titilope. Now should we go back to her poor parents? Titilope had no choice but to make ends meet, especially because of her daughter. She had to do odd jobs like cleaning the house for people, clearing people's farmland, hawking, because her parents were very poor. While she was with Olariwaju, she did not assist her parents at all. She did not bother to send them money. Her parents did not get any form of help from Titilope at all. But now, when the chips are done, she had to apologize to her parents so that she could have a place to stay, as she was too ashamed to tell her friends what happened to her. "I brought this upon myself. I was not being sensitive. I brought that useless and wicked Ekaite to my home, and then she took over and ruined it for me. Titilope thought to herself in so much pain. 1 year later, Ekaete was already heavily pregnant for Olariwaju, and then the unexpected happened. Olariwaju woke up and was surprised to see Ekaete by his side on the bed. "Who are you?" he questioned Ekaete. Ah, my love, what kind of question is that? It is me now, Ekaete, your love, Ekaete said with so much confidence. I am doomed. How did you get in my bed? Stand up. I don't know you. Ekaete was surprised. How will you say that? Can't you see? I am carrying your child, Ekaete said as she rubbed her tummy. Before I close my eyes and open my eyes, leave my house immediately, Olariwaju said. Ekaete thought Olariwaju was joking until he brought out a sharp cutlass and started chasing her around the house. I will kill you today if you don't leave my house. How did you get into my house? How did you get into my bed? Leave my house now, you strange woman, Olariwaju said with so much rage in his voice. Ekaete ran out barefooted with only her clothes that she was wearing as she walked barefooted on the street like a mad woman looking for where to stay. Thank you for watching. Tell me the lessons you've learned in the comment section. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to the channel and turn on your bell notification button. Remember to share this video to your loved ones. Until I come your way again, for now, from me, it is bye.